Like a winter sunrise, the seasons have burned brightly for the Dallas Cowboys. For an unprecedented 8 straight years, Dallas reached the championship playoffs. But even for a team rich in victories and achievement, the football winds swirled in curious patterns, and so did Cowboy fortunes in 1974. Many thought their star would wane from age, but in point of fact, Dallas was young, not old. Every member of Tom Landry's roster was homegrown, not acquired by trade or taken from the waiver list. In 1974, the veterans stabilized Dallas until talent and potential sprouted into experience. 1974, a year of growth for the Dallas Cowboys. The season's first week brought Dallas to Atlanta. A tough opener turned into a rout as the Doomsday defense shut out the Falcons, and the seeds of the NFL's most explosive offense took root. The legs of Roger Staubach carried Dallas to 1 touchdown, while his right arm accounted for another. The 24-0 shutout was a sunny beginning to a stormy season that saw Dallas a champion in waiting. The Doomsday defenders were hobgoblins on Monday Night Football as they chewed up the Eagles and bit deep into the passing pocket of Roman Gabriel. Doomsday held its second straight opponent without a touchdown, and Roger Staubach blanketed the field with screamers to Drew Pearson. But even though Dallas tramped up and down Veterans Stadium and Pearson caught 10 passes for 161 yards, the Cowboys mustered only 1 touchdown. Needing another score to cement victory, the Cowboys lost their chance when they fumbled. Joe Lavender's 96-yard touchdown spurred Philadelphia to a 13-10 win, and the Cowboys to a 4-game losing streak. A shocking loss to the Giants was followed by a last-second defeat by Minnesota, and then a cruel final-minute triumph by Don Coryell's St. Louis Cardinals. With a 1-4 record, Dallas was in last place in the NFC East. A grim position for a team with such illustrious tradition. But in St. Louis, the pulse of a stunned team began to beat, and signs of revival were evident when the defense caught the Cardinals in its crunch. Doomsday battened down its helmets and hit, while the offense revived flagging spirits, put on its game face, and shrugged off the hurts. The murky despair that shrouded the early season cleared, and Dallas geared up for some game-breaking football. Roger Staubach was his old rambling, gambling, razzle-dazzle self as he darted in for one score and rammed another home to Gene Fugger. All the special team members did their share, but Dennis Morgan did more when he blazed 98 yards on a punt return. Finally, after 5 futile weeks, Dallas readied to resume the championship chase. In Week 6, Dallas stormed over the Eagles. The offensive line gouged giant seams in the Eagles' defense, and Cowboy runners powered through. The Cowboys buried Philadelphia 31-24, and then spilled into the lap of their old buddy, Craig Morton, who now wore the true blue colors of the Giants. The defense held its third opponent in 7 weeks without a touchdown, and Dallas took the quick route to victory as 2 bombs laid waste to New York. The first was a perfect rainbow from Staubach to Drew Pearson. Pearson, a former college quarterback at Tulsa, showcased his old skills by rifling a strike dead in stride to golden riches. The 21-7 conquest of New York keynoted a revenge match against the first-place St. Louis Cardinals. Dallas dispatched the Cardinals 17-14, and then it was the 49ers who became meat for the grinder. Dallas broke San Francisco in half like a twig and won its 4th in a row, 20-14. In Washington, the victory binge was bent out of shape by the arch-rival Redskins. 30 minutes of flawless football gave Washington a lopsided 28-0 lead at the half. Down by 4 touchdowns, Dallas pride erupted, and the scrimmage line, once dominated by the Burgundy, lay awash in white jerseys. The most formidable Cowboy was young tackle Bill Gregory, number 77, who disrupted blocking patterns and bolted to the point of attack. The Redskin offense huffed and puffed and finally wheezed in the dirt of RFK Stadium. Chinks in the Redskin armor of invincibility became cracks, then gaping holes, as Dallas decided a straight line was the shortest distance between 6 points. With a score 28-7, it seemed as hopeless as Tennyson's Light Brigade. But like the 600, Dallas ignored the cannon's volley and thunder and charged half a league, half a league, half a league onward. Robert Newhouse's touchdown made the score 28-14. With time dying, Dallas would live by the pass. Starbuck sought out second-year tight end Billy Joe Dupree. Dupree's oak-tough body stood tall in the gut of the Washington zone, and his second touchdown cut the Redskin lead to 7 points. Trailing 28-21, Dallas moved within sight of sudden death. With it 4th and goal at the Redskin 7, Starbuck sent Drew Pearson to the post. But the ball and victory skidded off his shoulder pads. With a 5-5 record, Dallas was all but eliminated from the playoffs. But for the thousands who poured into Texas Stadium, hope still flickered faintly. One big reason was the Doomsday defense, a young unit whose theories were based on team, not individual play, and whose motto was, the strength of the pack is the wolf, but the strength of the wolf is the pack. Veterans provided a solid framework for this young, maturing defense. Pugh, Cole, Toomey, Green, and Renfro, Jordan, Edwards, and Lewis. And of course, the immovable mountain of a man, Bob Lilly. Not as resilient, but still strong and quick for short duty. For defensive ends, Dallas displayed 2 young lightning bolts in rookie Ed Too Tall Jones and second-year man Harvey Martin. Unknown and overlooked, Martin, number 79, was a sensation in his rookie year. Doubters who predicted this media would burn out the second time around soon squirmed with every quarterback Martin blew away. Pairing with Martin was 6'9", 265-pound Ed Too Tall Jones, the NFL's number 1 draft choice from Tennessee State. Like every number 1, Jones was a marked man whose imposing talents came under the critical focus of many eyes. To fans, teammates, opponents, and press, Jones had to pass muster. Jones succeeded because raw ability counterbalanced inexperience, as his size, strength, and speed blotted out passing attacks. Jones left a trail of quarterbacks in his destructive wake, and in week 11, the offense rested as Too Tall, Harvey Martin, and Bill Gregory outmuscled the Houston Oilers for the bragging rights of Texas. Dallas shut out Houston 10-0. 8 times Dan Pastorini was sacked, and his frustrated passes were pricked in midair by a secondary of Charlie Waters, Mark Washington, Benny Barnes, and Pro Bowler Cliff Harris. On Thanksgiving, Washington came to Texas Stadium. Grim faces told the tale as the Redskins took a commanding 16-3 lead into the second half. A stunned Roger Staubach left Dallas without a proven leader. With Staubach dazed and Craig Morton in New York, only rookie free agent Clint Longley remained. Without even a warm-up throw or a second of pro experience, Clint Longley was cast in a storybook role with only a cool head and a strong right arm to rely on. Longley's touchdown to Billy Joe Dupree brought Dallas to within a touchdown of the lead. Dallas hoped to employ Longley as a stopgap measure, but Staubach, still dazed and lightheaded, was unable to continue. Longley generaled the Cowboys into the lead as Walt Garrison powered over behind playbook blocking. Just as Dallas stood pat with a winning hand, a joker named Wayne Thomas slipped into the end zone and Washington reclaimed the lead. But a storybook hero rarely loses out in fiction, and neither did Clint Longley on Thanksgiving Thursday. With the score 23-17, Dallas stood 50 yards and 35 seconds away from victory. 50 yards through a defense eagerly laying back for the bomb they knew would come. It came. Oh, sweet victory. The 24-23 win was a little too late to save Dallas from extinction in the playoffs. But there was a name, Clint Longley, to remember, and a joyous victory to savor. Maybe it was enough to warm the Dallas Cowboys through the cold bite of winter. There was much to be proud of for the Dallas Cowboys in 1974. By year's end, their young but matchless offense rolled up more yards than any team in the NFL. The cornerstone was an offensive line composed of tackles Rayfield Wright and Ralph Neely. The center position was ably manned by Dave Manders and young John Fitzgerald. Rounding out the line were the guards, Blaine Nye and John Nyland. Shoulder to shoulder, down deep, the line blasted out touchdowns for a fleet of Dallas running backs. Only a series of nagging injuries prevented Calvin Hill from joining the coveted 1,000-yard club for the third straight year. After 9 years, Walt Garrison was still the pros' pro in the Dallas Cowboy backfield. Number 32 has boundless desire, and whether hale and hearty or hurt, he was 205 pounds of Billy Goat tough. The Cowboys possessed quality depth at running back. There was rookie Doug Dennison and Robert Newhouse, who skimmed the surface like a low-slung sports car. At 5'9", 205 pounds, his rubber ball body bounced into secondary. Perhaps the gem of this year's draft was Charles Young, a freewheeling co-number 1 draft choice. Early on, Young got lost in the imposing shadow of Too Tall Jones. But this 55-yard run against Houston was one of the NFL's longest. Three second-year receivers afforded the Cowboys the most versatile and explosive passing attack in their history. 2 years ago, a free agent quarterback turned receiver named Drew Pearson was given little chance to succeed. In 1973, because of injuries, Pearson was force-fed with X's and O's and became a starter. In 1974, he was no longer just a starter, but a star. Pearson reminds one of Raymond Berry. Like the former Baltimore Colt receiver, he displays flawless technique and the ability to be alone when the ball arrives. But what separates Pearson from Berry is what happens after the ball arrives. For no NFC receiver covered more yards than this All-Pro in 1974. Golden Richards has a movie star's name and winged feet. While Pearson gained over 1,000 yards in bits and pieces, Richards swept past defenders with a ground-gobbling stride. Number 88 hit the singles, and number 83, the home runs. The position of most marked improvement was tight end. When Roger Staubach needed 6 yards or 6 points, he called on Billy Joe Dupree. When the big play was needed, it was as simple as 1, 2, 3. And the sum of Dupree, Richards, and Pearson added up touchdown. With so much accomplished, so much achieved, one day, one play sum up the Dallas Cowboys of 1974. Thanksgiving Day was more than a miracle or a victory. It was a sign of the future. It is said that all good things come to those who wait, and the waiting soon will be over for the Dallas Cowboys.